Love can be intense, exciting, and evokes deep emotions. But if you experience violent feelings, anxious attachment, fear of abandonment, or dependence on a partner's constant presence in a relationship, it may not be love, but attachment trauma. What is it? Attachment trauma is formed in childhood when a child is confronted with inconsistent, neglectful, or even abusive care. Such early experiences destroy a sense of security and emotional balance, creating deep wounds. In adulthood, these wounds often cause difficulties in building healthy relationships. They may force us to unconsciously look for partners who repeat familiar but painful scenarios from the past. Instead of being attached to a person for their personal qualities, we may be attracted to the opportunity to relive old emotional traumas. In this video, we'll figure out how to recognize and overcome toxic relationship patterns rooted in attachment trauma. This is an important step towards freedom and harmony in your personal life. Here are some signs that will help you understand that you are not experiencing love but attachment trauma. You feel incomplete without a partner. Do you ever feel empty, insecure, or lost when your partner is not around? Is it difficult for you to determine who you are outside of this relationship? This may be the result of attachment trauma. Such feelings often arise due to the lack of stable emotional support in childhood, which prevents the formation of a full-fledged sense of self. Your happiness depends on your partner. Love makes another person an important part of your life, but it shouldn't make you feel like you can't live a normal life without them. In a healthy relationship, there is room for individuality, personal development, and growth. Attachment trauma, on the contrary, forces you to build your personality around another person, depriving you of a sense of independence. By recognizing this, you can take a step towards restoring your inner balance and building healthier connections. The fear of being abandoned is another sign of attachment trauma. Do you feel constantly worried that your partner might leave you? If every fight feels like the end of a relationship, it's most likely due to emotional trauma rather than love. Attachment trauma begins in childhood, when a child does not receive stable care and support. In adulthood, this can manifest itself as a deep fear of loneliness, especially in relationships. If even the thought that your partner needs a little time alone causes you anxiety or fear of being abandoned forever, this may indicate unresolved emotional wounds. Healthy love, on the contrary, gives you a sense of confidence and stability. In such a relationship, conflicts do not mean a breakup, and temporary distance is not perceived as a lack of love. Difficulty setting boundaries is another sign of attachment trauma. If you notice a tendency to constantly take on the role of a rescuer in a relationship, this may be due to childhood experiences when you had to earn love by caring for others or trying to be comfortable. However, true love is not about sacrifice, but about mutual compromise and growth. Love should not be fragile or conditional, as you might have been taught in childhood. In a relationship based on attachment trauma, you can allow others to overstep your desires, agree to what you don't like, or say yes when you want to say no. Attachment trauma makes you believe that if you set boundaries, it will push your partner away. But healthy relationships are built on respect, where boundaries are perceived as a natural and important part of interaction. They understand that the word no is not a rejection of love, but a manifestation of maturity and self-care. Worry is not equal to passion. The ability to distinguish between these feelings is the key to understanding which relationships really bring joy and comfort. Anxiety or love? At first, butterflies in the stomach may seem exciting and pleasant, but if they do not go away, it may be anxiety, not love. In a healthy relationship, the initial excitement is gradually replaced by a sense of security, stability, and inner peace. It's not a roller coaster of emotions where you're constantly analyzing every message or rethinking every interaction. If your relationship is causing constant tension, it's most likely due to attachment trauma. You feel responsible for their emotions. Do you consider it your task to make your partner happy? Are you to blame in your own eyes if he is upset? Such feelings often indicate attachment trauma, especially if you grew up in an atmosphere of emotional instability. In such conditions, the child learns to control other people's emotions in order to avoid conflicts and preserve peace. In healthy love, both partners support each other, but each person's happiness does not rest on the other's shoulders. Real relationships are built on mutual care, where responsibility for emotions is shared rather than assigned to one. True love gives you space. In a healthy relationship, both partners can freely experience their emotions without having to constantly interfere or control each other's feelings. Obsession with a partner. Love, of course, can make you think about your loved one, but this should not turn into an obsessive need to know where he is, who he is with, and if he is thinking about you. Attachment trauma often manifests itself through such obsessive thoughts. This is due to the experience of childhood instability or neglect, when love seemed unreliable and you had to be constantly on guard not to lose it again. In contrast, true love is built on trust and confidence. It gives you a sense of peace, rather than keeping you in an endless cycle of worries, doubts, and attempts to control everything. The constant need for confirmation. If you often look for evidence of your partner's love, it may be due to attachment trauma. For example, you may worry if your partner doesn't respond to messages right away, or regard his silence as a sign of rejection. This fear is usually rooted in past experiences where you found it hard to believe that someone could genuinely care about you without confirming it over and over again. Healthy love, on the contrary, brings confidence and a sense of stability. It does not require constant reassurance and does not feed on fears. Over time, such relationships build trust, while attachment trauma fuels feelings of insecurity, urgency, and anxiety. Understanding the difference between love and attachment trauma is the key to building healthy relationships not only with other people, but also with yourself. If you've learned any of these signs from yourself, remember, you deserve a love that gives you a sense of security. A love in which you're accepted for who you are without conditions or fear of rejection. What do you think? Did this video affect you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience may help others as well. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Also watch our other videos about traumatic bonding to learn more. Thank you for being with us, and see you in the next video.